Welcome to this explainer on missing data. You know, when you're staring at a data set, it's really tempting to just gloss over the blank spaces. But what does a blank space actually mean? It could mean not asked, maybe not applicable, a system failure, or just a genuinely unknown value. If your first instinct is to treat every blank as a zero, hold on a second. Doing that can fundamentally change the entire meaning of your data. Think about a temperature sensor going offline. A zero in that column doesn't mean it's suddenly freezing outside, right? It just means the sensor is broken. Making a mistake like that can literally derail an entire analysis before it even starts.
So in this explainer, we're going to build a really practical mental model for handling missing data and data cleaning. By the end of our time together, you'll be able to trace the whole data cleaning process from start to finish. And, more importantly, you're going to know exactly where your results need a healthy dose of caution. We aren't just memorizing formulas here. We're developing a structured approach that builds genuine confidence in your final output. Let's get into it.
Which brings us to the big question that trips up data projects across literally every industry. How should missing values actually be understood and handled? It sounds like a simple housekeeping task, I know, but as you'll see, the way you answer this question can entirely dictate the outcome of your research.
First things first, we really need a mindset shift. Missingness isn't just an empty void on a spreadsheet. It's actual information about the data-generating process itself. Think about it. Cleaning is just the documented work of detecting, correcting, or qualifying data problems. So handling missing data always has to start by asking why those values are absent in the first place, rather than just blindly reacting to the blank space. Is it a random glitch, or did a specific group of people intentionally refuse to answer a question? That absence is speaking to you, and you really have to listen.
Now, when you're faced with these blanks, you do have options. You can delete incomplete rows, use explicit missingness indicators, or use imputation, which is simply replacing missing values with estimated ones. But here's the catch. These methods are appropriate only under defensible assumptions. It's not just about picking whatever fancy technique is trending. You've got to track exactly what information enters the process, what operation changes it, and what kind of output comes back. Keeping those distinct parts separate is what turns an abstract idea into a verifiable system.
Okay, let's dive into the four-step mechanism to actually handle this. Step 1. ENCODE. This means identifying and consistently labeling distinct missing states. So make sure you don't mix up a refuse to answer with a system error. Step 2. Profile. Don't just look at totals. You need to profile the missingness by variable, by group, and over time to spot any hidden patterns. Step 3. Assume. Explicitly write down your assumptions about why the data is missing and what consequences that has. And finally, Step 4. Handle. Choose your method, apply it properly without leaking future data into your model, and always test how sensitive your results are to that specific choice.
Taken together, those four stages, encode, profile, assume, and handle, map out a direct conceptual path connecting your starting information to your final result. And this path matters deeply because human assumptions, measurement choices, and outright errors can sneak in at any stage along the way. A responsible explanation of your data shows this entire journey, not just the shiny final output, because if you only show the end result, no one can verify if the steps you took to get there were actually sound.
Let's make this super concrete with a classic example. Imagine we're looking at a large health survey that collects demographic and income data. Often in these kinds of scenarios, the income fields are left blank way more frequently by very high earners and very low earners. But why? Well, it could be privacy concerns, the complexity of their wealth, or maybe social stigma. The point is, the blank space is telling you something vital about human behavior. The missingness itself is a really strong signal.
So think about how you handle that signal. If your first instinct is a flawed one, like simply dropping all the incomplete rows, you've got a problem. In our survey example, dropping those blanks would severely overrepresent middle-income earners, completely skewing your health data and leading to false conclusions. Instead, a strategic approach would use model-based imputation under alternative assumptions to fill in those gaps. But remember, your chosen method changes what you are actually measuring. An imputed value is just an educated guess based on your model. It is absolutely never a recovered fact.
So, what's the ultimate decision rule here? You have to match your method to your specific question, the available data, and the cost of being wrong. Practically speaking, you should only use deletion when that data loss is completely acceptable and doesn't skew your reality. And hey, if you're building predictive models, always fit your imputation inside each training fold, never calculate it across the whole data set before evaluation, or you'll accidentally leak answers to your test set. Don't just pick a technique because it's easy. Ask if its output truly answers your real question.
This brings us to a really massive common misconception. The idea that just substituting the most common value, or the average, is a safe, neutral replacement. Let me be clear, it's not. The more accurate view is that simple imputation fundamentally changes the distributions and relationships in your data. If you fill every blank income in our health survey with the exact mathematical average, you're artificially shrinking the variance. You hide the real extremes and create this massive spike in the middle that just doesn't exist in the real world. There is no perfectly neutral default, period.
Furthermore, we have to acknowledge a hard, kind of uncomfortable limit here. True missing values are completely unobserved. You literally do not have them. Because of this, no data cleaning method, no matter how advanced, can magically verify its own assumptions using only the incomplete data alone. Now, this doesn't make cleaning useless, but it does clearly define the boundary. It tells you exactly when your result deserves confidence and when you need outside evidence or careful human judgment to actually trust your findings.
Let's bring this all together now. We can distill this whole framework into a quick what, how, and when. Keeping this mental model sharp is what really separates a novice data cleaner from a true professional. First, the what. Any strategy you choose, from deletion to imputation, is appropriate only under defensible assumptions. Remember, handling starts by asking why the data is absent. Second, the how. Move systematically through the 4 stages: encode, profile, assume, and handle. Finally, the when. Always match your method to the question and the cost of an error. And never forget that because true missing values are unobserved, no algorithm can verify its own assumptions for you.
By relying on this structured framework, you can really build deep confidence in how you handle complex datasets properly. But it does leave us with a critical question to consider the next time you open up a spreadsheet. When you look at your clean, perfectly formatted data, what vital human stories were accidentally erased during the cleanup? Thanks so much for joining this explainer.